Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures on what is a very dry allotment. As you know, in the UK we are now, in some parts anyway, in drought areas, which means you're not allowed to use your hose pipe band. Sorry little bumblebee, I'm stood next to their favourite lamb in the bush. And well, what do you do? How do you water? We're going to take a look at that during this show, but we're also going to take a look at some of my potatoes that I'm picking to have on my Sunday roast today. Sit back, relax, and once again, welcome to the show. Well, here we are at the day of reckoning for some potatoes. Now I know this bag here isn't doing very well because I forgot to top it up, but little experiment actually, and it's been watered but not as heavily as some of the others, although I thought it had, and it's not produced very many potatoes. In fact, there's just a handful, but they're beautiful new potatoes, so I'm quite happy actually because, well, another one of those and we'll be all right. So you can see obviously now we're in drought conditions. I mean, this is absolutely dry to the bone. There's no moisture in that at all, and because it's in a bag, it's really difficult obviously to keep moist and to keep watered. This is the same, but let's see how we are. And this has been well watered, hopefully, and it may have produced some more potatoes. Oh, there's one, two. How fantastic is that? Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Oops. Let's move these out the way. That was a bit daft actually. Put these over here in this bag. Let's pop those over there. So, and it just shows the difference, doesn't it? Let's pop those over here, and what I can do is I can move. Now this is the original potato here. Look, all beautifully rotted, and there's the stalks and the stem coming from that original potato, and not as many as you think it's going to be actually in there, even though this has been well watered. The thing with this one is it did die off pretty sharpish, but actually I'm quite pleased. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fair sized potatoes, and these are beautiful new potatoes. Look at those, absolutely delicious. They smell wonderful. And well, there's no slugs in here. Interestingly, early on I thought there were going to be loads of slugs because I did find a huge big slug in here, and I thought, oh, might have lost all my potatoes, but luckily I have enough for today's Sunday roast. So let's see what's in this other bag over here. And again, let me move these ones out of the way. Compared to the ones that haven't been watered, I mean, that's the size in comparison. Look at that size in that difference. And well, it's just been an experiment. This obviously we can reuse. Have to be careful, go through it, make sure there's no potatoes left in there, particularly from the original growing stem, and no stalks, because otherwise it will regrow. Let's take this one out now. Again, not really being that well watered, and well, we've got one little one there, although it's green. I don't expect very much from there. There's not a lot here actually, but that's understandable. Maybe 1 or 2 little piddly ones, but that's all right because these are new potatoes. So let's try and get that out. Oh, there we go. These will be lovely for today's dinner. So we've got another one there, look, and yeah, beautiful things. Smells absolutely delicious. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's an interesting shaped one. We'll take a close-up picture of that. So now let's talk, unfortunately, shall we, in a moment about the drought. I'll go to a different position, but I'm happy so far with my potatoes here. Experiment ones and the real ones. Well, as we know, sections of the UK are now at the moment in drought conditions, so hose pipe bans are using less water if possible. What happens if you've got a vegetable garden, if you're growing your vegetables? Well, luckily, in a way, we're sort of halfway through the growing season, so a lot of your vegetables are already established. So how to keep the ones surviving that you've got already. Now, believe it or not, things like cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots, root veg, they're pretty hardy when it comes to drought conditions because they search out, their roots will go deep into the soil and find moisture. Now, How do you know you've got enough moisture there? How do you know you've not overwatered or underwatered? So obviously, if you can find a patch where nothing's growing, because you don't disturb roots, dig down about, I don't know, maybe 10 inches, 6 inches possibly is best actually, and look at the soil. If it's nice and damp, then that's fine. If you can get a bit of the soil and it sticks between your fingers, so it clogs together, then that's fine. Obviously, if it's loose and flaky, then it needs a little bit more water. And the deeper you can get that water, the better. So, as I've said before, if you've got veg growing, you can no longer just liberally get the hosepipe out and spray everywhere. You have to now look at what you've got and dedicate the water into that particular area with your watering cans, and you save water. I'm lucky here. I've got water butts, and fingers crossed they're going to survive through the next few weeks in the hope we get some much needed rain. And I know across parts of the country you definitely need the rain. If you haven't got rain, mulch. So mulching means you're putting a layer on top of the soil to retain the moisture that's in there. You can use anything, so cardboard, newspapers, more soil if you can get it, I suppose, in a way, if that's anything's available to you. Grass cuttings, anything you can place on top of the soil to retain the coolness and the moisture that's within the soil already. De-weeding. Get rid of your weeds. You've got loads of weeds around your plants. You want to get them out as soon as possible, because of course the weeds are very, very good at finding moisture, and they will go deep with their roots and they will take the water that your plants need. So get rid of your weeds. It's a long, laborious process, I know it is, but you need to get that done in order to survive. Obviously you can put leaf mould on top if you've got some, even plastic sheeting, black plastic sheeting above ground will retain moisture in it. If you can water directly next to your plants, and I've talked about it before, getting plastic bottles, cutting the tops off and filling with water. If you can't do that, then small tubes, perhaps make a hole next to your plant. Make a hole as deep as you can get it and pour the water in that and let the water seep down. Because now it's not about spraying water around willy-nilly, it's about direct watering to the plants that need it. As I say, tomatoes, cucumbers, any of the root vegetables actually, I've got beetroots here. In fact, some of my herbs are doing really well, but they're established already. It's difficult now to plant new things in a drought. But if you do want to attempt it, because I'm still going to carry on planting my cabbages. Now that means I will put a trough in and I will water directly into that trough. And then my seedlings will go into that trough, because obviously I've been watering the area already, especially in here. This is where I had my cauliflowers growing. And so it's actually deep down, it's got quite a lot of moisture here because they were well watered. And it's actually the same in my greenhouse. Believe it or not, where the carrots are, even though it's really, really hot and baking in there, the carrots are going down to their roots. You do not need to water every single day, maybe 2 or 3 days. Believe it or not, my tomato plants over there haven't had any water for a whole week. And they're now surviving, they're turning beautiful red, and I'm getting lots and lots of tomatoes off them. Same with the cucumbers. You don't need masses of water. What you do need, as I say, direct watering to your plants. Obviously, if you've got tubs and buckets like I've just had with my potatoes, then you've got to make sure they're watered. And because it's a direct watering, you're not watering a very big space, then you should be fine. You can actually use water out of the bath, believe it or not. Remember, don't put too many chemicals in it if you're just having a bath. Get your buckets up there and utilise water from the house. Water butts, get them set up, because we will get rain eventually, and you need to be able to capture that water over the next few weeks. No matter how much it is, I've had buckets all around the allotment and I've only collected maybe an inch of water. But if you've got 2 or 3 of those, or even as many as you can get, and it collects the water, then it soon mounts up to a bucket full. And you can utilise that, and so you still can continue. I mean, things like lettuces are rubbish in drought because they've got very small surface level really roots, and so they don't really go deep enough. But even like chard goes deep down, they've got lovely roots. And my mint, that's going deep down, that's doing really well. And as I said, my beetroot here is doing well. My cauliflower behind me, this little one here, that's getting a new head on it, and that's doing extremely well. So again, not really been watering very much in here. Beetroot's doing really well. In fact, they're doing better now with lack of water than they were when they were getting too much water. Interestingly, you'd think, wouldn't you, my pumpkins, They were struggling at first because I was watering every 2 or 3 days, and I've left them, absolutely left them now for the last week and a half, 2 weeks without any water, and they've gone really down with their roots, and they look healthier again than they've ever looked before because they're searching for water. So mulch as much as you can, get stuff on top of the soil to prevent, because if I scrape down here, this is absolutely dry as a bone on top. But even if I just go down just here a couple of inches, because the way I've been watering, it's beautifully, and it is holding together, so it's just moist enough soil deeper down. These could do with you know, a covering on top, a mulch on top, but they're doing okay. So direct watering in drought, get rid of all your weeds and get on top of the top with mulching, plastic, anything you can do to retain the water below. And as I say, good luck, and we'll keep you posted over the next few weeks that we get some rain soon. Well, even in the drought conditions here, my raspberries are starting to come yet again because they've got really deep roots here, and the watering is direct on the bottom of the plant. So I'm really, really lucky here. My golden raspberry is delivering golden raspberries. Isn't that lovely? Look at this little picture. Aren't they beautiful? Can't wait to taste those, hopefully by the end of the week when they get a little bit bigger. Speaking of homegrown fruits, let's go to Mary in Sheffield and look at your beautiful blueberries from a very small plant, apparently out, of course, of a container. And you've got loads and loads, which is brilliant stuff. So I know they're going to taste really, really tasty. And we're also going to go across to Pete in Sheffield, who's got an allotment. And well, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to you, Pete. I know that. And well, look at that. You've got your own fruits from your allotment, and well, your partner has made you a birthday cake out of all of the fruit that you've got from your allotment. Please send me a slice through the post. It looks absolutely delicious. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Keep your pictures, your stories, all the things you're growing coming through to me here on the Allotment channel. It's great having you, and well, I hope to see you again very shortly here with good news about, I suppose, the rain. Ta-ra for now.